Good morning, everybody, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setups for today. So, yeah, I think we have a wedge, and we are flirting with the top of the wedge at the moment, and there is the bottom. So, yeah, we've had a very strong move up. We've had a fairly deep pullback, more than three. Normally your pullbacks are in sort of an ABC move, so it's 1, 2, 3, but this has been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move at the moment, so it could be lots of things on the go here. So it could really be some structure, or it could just turn out we reject the top, move down, and then form a much more well-defined channel to the downside. So we need a break one way or another. So for me, the downside, it's not really exciting me at the moment. We don't quite have diversions. On one of the oscillators we've got diversions here. On the faster moving oscillator, the slow moving oscillator we don't. So there's so many signals here grouping to the downside of the oscillators, crossover pointing up, and both of them almost above the 20. That is a bullish level. We've got this level of resistance here at 44.53. If we flip that into support, that brings us straight back into the moving averages. Then I would expect us to sort of range about for a break to the upside further. But at the moment, this does look like a wedge to me, and a pretty strong bull wedge. It looks like a market that is trying to recover. At the moment, on the 3 hour, we are below the 155. In other words, trend is down, but it's not really measured. It's big moves down, big moves up, big moves down, and then up and down all week. Basically, we've been ranging. So there is another very important bit of structure here, and if you look at that, that is last week's low. So that is last week's low. We're testing it again. We need to close above last week's low, so we need a higher low. If we can get that, from a close perspective, we're in a very good position for a continuation to the upside. So moving on to the hour, and yesterday was up and down, and then a pretty solid move. Wasn't that late in the session, but continued all the way up. So at the moment, this area needs to give way. Remember what I said, it is the weekly low of the previous week. So we need to get above it. We need to get close above it. And then the next level that's really important is, I think that was Wednesday. No, we're not. That was Tuesday. So we need to get above Tuesday's high here. If we can get above Tuesday's high, that gets us above the 155, and it also sets up a pretty solid double bottom here. Or even call it a triple bottom if you want to, but for me, that's one leg, that's the next leg, double bottom, looking for a break above there. Could call it a range as well if you wanted to. It's basically just consolidation. So that's kind of my play at the moment. I think there is merit for a little bit of a pullback back here. So we are in the Asian session. I don't expect this break to hold, so I would expect it to come back. DAX is looking interesting as well, looking really confused and poised at the same time. So I'm kind of a sit on hands person at the moment, and we will just wait this one out and see what transpires. If you look at the 15 minutes here, you can see diversions here at the moment. No real structure. We do have a crossover, potential trend reversal happening, but I do want to see a decent retest of the break. So this is the first break. This is the next break, and you can see we didn't quite test it. So this would be my first area to pay attention to, which is 444.3, or actually 444.4, and then you're looking for 444.35. As the other area there. Lastly, what we're flirting with at the moment, which is 44.53. If we get a break and a retest of that, that would be a pretty solid move. I'd need that to happen after hours, not after hours, in the European session though, and the European Open. That first hour of Open, I'd need that to happen before paying attention to that. So yeah, the markets are poised. It's a lot of noise. We've got earnings. There's so much going on at the moment. I see the dollar seems to be finding some resistance at the moment. which is also a very interesting sign, because that could mean that somebody knows a little bit more than what we think they know, and they're starting to position themselves correctly. Well, anyway, somebody always knows, as people say. Lastly, I just want to close off with a 5 minute, because what's been going on the last couple of weeks is your 5 minute is the one that's offering the opportunities during the day. And for us in South Africa, it's always happening late at night. So if you're working a full-time job, you're getting the opportunity to get a few trades in after hours, and you're avoiding not the confusion, but the volatility that normally happens at the open. So just explaining, it's standard strategy, same thing with the strategy. You've got the rejection of the 155, make higher low there, coming back to test a breakout. So each one of these tails obviously is breakouts. So if we just take this area here and we put there, so you've got an inside bar, you've got a pin bar here, you're far away from the moving averages, you are pretty much hovering near level, which is pretty important, and you get a break rejection here, pull back. That one probably wouldn't have done it for you, but this one here definitely does. That's a rejection of the breakout there. There's a breakout there. And so move to the upside. Same thing that happens over here. So you can see we've got above it, back below it. Not really that clean, but if I just come closer to home, there is a breakout. You can see there's a support, tweezer bottom on that area, and then you'll get a third pin bar there. There's another opportunity there. And then so you continue. Here's a pretty big breakout. You can look to the left, and you can see we came back to test it. Moving averages all pointing up. And the nice thing about something like this on the 5 minutes, you can trail your stop below the one of the moving averages, either the 60 or the 155. I wouldn't do the 30 because you often come back to it to test it. But you can see what I'm talking about. You've got the opportunity here late in the session to actually make the trades. You just got to be sitting in front of the charts and pay close attention to it, because you're in and out in a matter of minutes rather than a matter of hours, which is the typical way that I prefer trading. Anyway, the strategy works on all time frames. I think that's what it boils down to. So for me today, it's sit on hands. I'm not interested in this. I think on the Forex market, there is a couple of opportunities on the pound, which are well worth looking at. And also the Euro USD and USD Japanese yen. There is quite a bit of opportunities there, so it's probably worthwhile just paying attention to those charts during the European session, and then into the US session. And just that first hour of trading, you'll probably get the moves in that first hour already. Anyway, hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you next week. Enjoy your long weekend. Cheers for now.